In today's video, we need to talk about Arsenal because the work that Mikel Arteta has been doing, the transformation that club is in to basically playing PSG and being very comfortable against them, the levels they've gone up in the last 2 or 3 years is quite scary. And they've just gone up a different level this year because Arteta's building something unique with his what we call set-piece defensive monsters. And Mikel Merino comes into Arsenal and he says this among joining Arsenal. Mikel Merino is seeing things at Arsenal that he's never seen before. They do things that I've never seen in my career. The methods they use are completely new to me. It takes time to adapt, but when you get it, you're at a different level. And that's what Mikel Merino said about joining Arsenal. He's joined and there's just things he's not seen in football before. And he's seeing how Arsenal are getting to another level through these methods that Arteta are using, his game plan. So in today's video, we're going to talk about Arsenal. I'm going to talk about sort of what they're building with Calafiori and Merino coming in, a little bit about what they're doing this year and how Martinelli can be unlocked, but also just about Arsenal in general, Jurriën Timber, how they've been this season and why I think they are favourites to win the league. Now, if we look at Arsenal's recent fixtures, if someone had said to any Arsenal fan 2 years ago that in 2 years' time they would be comfortably beating PSG at home and dominating them and showing them physical levels, I think Arsenal fans would be shocked. Maybe 2 years ago, some could see it. 3 years ago, I think they'd be shocked. Beating Leicester 4-2, 90th minute winner. I mean, they deserve to probably beat Leicester like 5-1. The Leicester keeper was just playing out of his mind, but the 90th minute winner, it shows the mentality, it shows the title mentality. 5-1 thrashing of Bolton, big rotation. Nwaneri, the youth. I'll probably do a video in the international break on Arsenal's youth, Skelly and Nwaneri, so subscribe for that. And then you just look at general things like Manchester City. They were 2-1 up, they had 10 men. They played 45 minutes with 10 men away from home at the Etihad, where Manchester City haven't lost there in 2 years, and came away with a result. Manchester City celebrated the draw because I guess Man City didn't lose, but if you know you're playing Arsenal with 10 men 45 minutes, Man City should really be winning that game. Atalanta, they showed the defensive levels in a difficult 0-0 draw, a team that beat Liverpool 3-0 last year, and then they've got Southampton. They've shown levels this season. They are 1 point off top after 6 games, equal on points with Manchester City, and have had some difficult games, and they've shown absolute levels. If it wasn't for the red cards they had got, they could have been on a perfect 18 points, which is pretty crazy. But we're seeing so much happening at Arsenal, and we're seeing this crazy just defensive side, but it's not defensive in a bad way. I think people are trying to criticise Arsenal, saying they're too defensive. They part bus versus City. If you're 2-1 at home, if you're 2-1 away at the Etihad, and you have 10 men, and you're 2-1 up, you part the bus. It doesn't matter who you are. Prime Barcelona would part the bus against Prime Man City if they're 2-1 up with 10 men. I don't know why Arsenal got criticised for that, but they are defensive monsters. Before meeting Arsenal, PSG has scored in their last 51 Champions League group stage matches. 51. And they had one of the most informed players going into that match in Barcola, had 11 goal contributions in his last 11 games. And Jurriën Timber didn't give him a sniff. Barcola he did nothing, absolutely nothing. It shows you Arsenal's defence. Now, I've done videos and we've spoken about Arsenal's defence. I'm not going to talk too much about Gabriel Saliba, Arsenal's defence, because the numbers say it itself. I'm jealous. I am very, very jealous of how well-drilled Arsenal are off the ball. I support Manchester United. We are like the worst team in the world off the ball. We concede like the most shots. There's no structure. Not just Arsenal's defence, but how well-drilled they are off the ball. And Marino's coming into Arsenal and shocked, probably not just at how well-drilled they are on the ball, but every minute detail that Arteta will go through. Bukayo Saka is really hitting a different level this last year and a bit. I think Saka's always been a good player, but I've really noticed the level and output going up every year. He's got a goal contribution in every single Premier League game this season. I think he's got 6 assists, which is insane, assists in every game. But in the Champions League, in his last 6 games, he's got 8 goal contributions. On the big stage, Bukayo Saka is showing up in the Champions League. He's showing up in the Premier League. He's getting output. He's always been good. He always works hard. He always is good on the eye, but he's also getting the numbers. And that's when you know that that's an elite player. He was there for Arsenal when they were pretty crap. He's been there for Arsenal when they were good. He's been consistently good for Arsenal over all these seasons. He's been versatile. And the thing is, I think Saka would get even more goals if he was pushed closer to the goal, but he's doing what Arteta wants. And you know, in England, they had to accommodate the whole system to try and get Foden to play good. And then Foden was stinking it up on the left, so they put him in the middle. And bar, I think, a good 45 minutes versus Switzerland, Foden was pretty poor the whole Euros, despite them adapting the system to try and make it work for Foden. Where Saka could play left wing back, he could play right wing, he could do whatever Southgate wanted. Saka put in a shift for England because he's that kind of player. And Arsenal was so lucky to have a player of Bukayo Saka's quality. And then they've even got people like Kai Havertz, players that, when they got to Arsenal, everyone was like, why have they signed Kai Havertz? He's been a flop at Chelsea these years. And, you know, there was a few reasons that could be pointed out to why Arteta wants Havertz, the unpredictability, what he does off the ball. But no one expected 2024 Havertz to be as good as he was. He's been a different level. Since the start of February 2024, only 3 Premier League players have more goals and assists combined in all competitions than Kai Havertz, who's got 21 goal contributions. Bear in mind, he doesn't take penalties. Cole Palmer, Haaland. I feel like the other one might be Salah. The 3 players that got more than him, or maybe it's Watkins, all take penalties. So Kai Havertz has come to Arsenal, had a rocky first few months, adapted into this player that is now, like, pretty much output-wise the 3rd best in the Premier League. Saka's getting ridiculous output. You know, Arteta has taken a player that was low on confidence, that wasn't working at Chelsea, and turned him into one unbelievable player at Arsenal Football Club. Saka has developed into an unbelievable player. Merino was talking about the levels that have gone up at Arsenal. The coaching that Arteta has done to give Arsenal one of the best defences in the world is an absolute joke. And I mean this defence. I do want to talk about Merino. Merino and Calafiori was the main reason I made this video, and I haven't spoke about them. I do want to. But this defence, they've got basically William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes. If something happens to them, Ben White can play centre-back, Timber can play centre-back, and Calafiori can all play centre-back. They're all solid there. Tomiyasu's really good defensively. Zinchenko, not the best defensively, but if you can have a lot of possession against a lower league team, Zinchenko's ability to invert midfield could be of use. Kivio, flexible guy, can do the job. But, you know, it's going to be a battle between Timber, Ben White, and Calafiori, probably for the full-back slots. Gabriel and Saliba are nailed on. And then it's Yuri and Timber, maybe right back, Riccardo Calafiori left back. Ben White's going to be battling out for Timber. Timber can also play left back because he's incredibly versatile. And the fact that Arsenal could have someone as good as Ben White on their bench, it says it all about how good they are defensively. Not only have they got the best defensive record, but Yuri and Timber is essentially a new signing this season. He's been phenomenal. And they've got Calafiori. They've got versatility of players that can play fullback, centre-back, step into midfield. They've got all these profiles. I think what Arsenal built, when you look at the profile of players, is insane. They've got the 6'2" monster in Calafiori that can carry the ball forward with power. They've got Yuri and Timber, who's so defensively good but technically good and can evade the press and just break through people's lines with his ability to run. They've got it all. And then they got Mikel Merino. Now, Mikel Merino has obviously started his Arsenal career injured, and I think Rice, Merino, Odegaard is what Arteta was looking to build. But he came on versus PSG, won possession 3 times, made 2 clearances, 2 out of 3 tackles, 4 out of 6 duels, won all in 26 minutes. Defensively, he looks very sound. But they signed Mikel Merino for a lot of reasons, not just because he's tall, not just because he's good defensively, but he can influence every phase. And you're going to see it at Arsenal these next few games. And once he's played a few more games, I'm going to do a video on Mikel Merino and how he's going to impact Arsenal. But he can help him build up, he can drop deep, he can help him build up. Him being a left footer as well helps the fluidity of that. I think since Calafiori has come into Arsenal, I think him being left footed, you've really noticed Arsenal's build up on that left hand side get better. They're moving the ball quicker. Like Calafiori, his off the ball movement, he's always running around, getting in the pockets of space, ready to receive the ball, which means that the opposition have to do more work because he's moving to receive the ball. And when he receives the ball, he's playing the ball often forward, making the ball move quicker, which means the opposition have more work. They've got to get back in position quicker, which will make it easier for Arsenal going forward. He can help the progression of the ball. He can pass, he can dribble, he can win back the ball. He's very good at winning back the ball in midfield. He can win everything in the air. He could allow Arsenal to play over the press if they wanted, but he also could contribute creativity-wise. He has put a few crosses in. He can make a few late runs, score a few headers, score from set pieces. He's going to bring so much to Arsenal. He's an aerial duel and set-piece monster. His physical frame is going to take the reliance off Rice to be the physical guy in midfield. So having him and Rice in midfield, you saw how PSG got all the most technical players in Coutinho and Jan Evers, but they got done by Arsenal because the physicality and athleticism of Arsenal was too much for them. You can be as technical as you want, but if you don't have the physical levels, you're going to struggle. I always said this, Manchester City were the best technical team in the league, but Newcastle, in terms of physicality, was the best physical team in the league. But Newcastle lacked the technicality, but you could see Newcastle have given City games, they've given Arsenal games, they've beaten you guys. But, you know, Newcastle now need to improve their technical level, and City now need to improve their athletic level. What Arsenal are doing is they are now basically the best technical team in the league, up there right with Manchester City, but they're now giving Newcastle a run for their money for athleticism. And what I mean by athletic team in the league is how much distance can you play a cover, how fit, how fast, how strong they are. And what Arsenal are doing to get the edge over Manchester City is they're building this athletically good team. Calafiori and Merino are these athletically good monsters, and that's what Arsenal are building on top of technicality, because this guy can really do a job everywhere. And I've noticed so far this season that Martinelli is having an underrated season. He wasn't at his best last season, but if you look at expected threat per 90, Martinelli is at 0.2 expected threat generated per 90, which is one of the highest in the league as well. He's been really sort of looking a lot more dangerous, particularly since Calafiori's come in. The Manchester City game onwards, once Calafiori started, I think he's gone up a level. I think he's looked good in Arsenal's last 3 games, really looks threatening. And that is because they've now got 2 left footers on the left-hand side that are moving the ball quicker, that are playing those 1-2s, providing the overlap, providing the underlaps. And I think that will really help Martinelli excel, plus confidence, and it's going to put him up a level. Looking back at Merino as well, we know what a good partnership he had with Odegaard back in 2020, and that could be reformed again at Arsenal. Probably another reason why Arteta looked at him. But not only that, Jurrien Timber's basically been a new signing. He's played left back, he's played right back. He can play centre back as well. 100% tackles won, 100% ground duels won, 100% dribble success versus PSG. But what impresses me about Jurrien Timber is how good he is on the ball. He can get the ball and he can literally dribble out for the press. He did it versus PSG. Play the ball forward. He can pass the ball, receive the ball at any angle. He's so comfortable in build-up. He's so comfortable wherever he's playing left back, right back, in build-up, can underlap, can overlap, can provide elements going forward, but is so defensively sound that Barcola, one of the most informed players, could not beat him. It caused so many issues when you've got such a versatile, unique skill set in Timber. Fantastic player, and he's looked unreal at Arsenal, especially considering how long he was out for. The way he's come back into Arsenal looks so good is crazy. And then you've got Riccardo Calafiori. This guy, again, is a monster. 1 clearance, 1 block shot, 3 tackles, 2 key passes, 3 out of 4 long balls, 12 out of 19 duels, 12 duels won, 3 shots on target, 2 out of 3 dribbles attempted. This was versus Leicester. Timber was a beast versus PSG. Riccardo Calafiori was a beast versus Leicester. The way that he can dribble, 6'2" like Merino. As I said, Arsenal brought 2 6'2" monsters in to really bulk, I think, that left-hand side and drive power down there. There's all of a sudden this power surgence going down Arsenal's left-hand side, who are also defensively solid. And the carrying up the pitch, the progression, his ability to help build up, move the ball quicker. This is why I think Martinelli is going to go up levels, because of Calafiori, because of Merino. But Arsenal, again, you saw how they were just physically all over PSG. Arsenal's physical levels is going to give them this massive advantage, I think, moving forward. And that's where they're maybe looking to beat City. Their physical levels to up the tempo, drive through teams. That is when they're going to cause problems. And wow, Calafiori, man, what a player. Ranked first for duels won, first for aerial duels won, first for shots on target, first for set piece XG, and third for play ending in shots. Calafiori was helping with ball progression, helping with movement. He was running it versus Leicester. And I have to say, Arteta's plan for Arsenal with Calafiori and Merino coming in, the fact that Manchester City have Rodri out for so long, Arne Slot didn't really get the backing in the summer, so there is a possibility Liverpool could drop off. I am very scared Arsenal are going to win the league, because I feel what they're building is a technical but athletically monstrous squad with a well-coached rest defence that is doing something different. And I just think, yeah, they've got something going on with clinical forwards in Saka and Havertz. Trossard can always come off the bench and get a goal. I am a bit worried about Arsenal. I can't lie.